Sometimes things are just inevitable. Greetings and salutations, everybody. This is a video that I've debated making, but it's still something that I think is very relevant and something that I want to share with all of you, because we all go through this kind of thing and we all experience loss in our life. And I'm just going to get to it. Yesterday at 4:22 p.m., my grandfather has passed away. I know that I don't make videos like this typically, and I've only made maybe a couple with regards to loss on this channel, and there are a couple others that come to mind when I think of loss. One was a couple years back when one of my family members had brain surgery, and I will link that in the description. And the other one was when my close friend Spectre the Wolf passed away. But I think it's just as important to come to you and tell you about this. My grandfather, he lived a full life. He was a musician, he was a factory worker, he was he gave my dad and my uncle the best life that he could. He taught me a lot of things. He took me out on his boat a lot. We went fishing, we went golfing, we played music together, we experienced things together. My brother and I would often go to his house during the summer to stay the night. We would have fires, we would camp, we would have family reunions and gatherings at their place, and we would just have the best time of our lives. And unfortunately, he later on in his life, he dealt with a lot of serious health issues. And the most recent one was he had surgery right back here on the back of his neck to correct some nerve problems he was having, because at first we thought he was having strokes, because he would have trouble talking and he would have trouble moving, and he always, for the past year or so, he had trouble walking, and we thought that the surgery would correct a bunch of those things. And unfortunately, he never recovered. He was doing well right after the surgery. He was responding, he was conscious, he had all of his brain function, he just couldn't walk. And 1 week went by, then 2, then 3, and on Friday of this past week, he got moved to hospice because they said that he wasn't going to make it. And yesterday, they planned to take him off of his life support because he wasn't responding to treatments. He wasn't responding to anything that they were giving him. And they said he's suffering and it's time for his suffering to end. He was one of the greatest examples I ever had in my life. He lived life to the fullest. He accomplished so many things in his life. He was well educated. He had his own business. He loved his family. He loved his grandkids. He loved me, even though he probably had no idea about this and what I do on the internet or what brings me joy. He didn't need to, because I knew that he loved me. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about something the other day as I was drifting off to sleep. This was before he passed. The last time I saw him was this past Thanksgiving. We were over at his house. My grandma cooked an amazing meal for all of us, and I was getting ready to leave. I was, you know, dinner and dessert was over. We hung out for a bit as a family, and I went to him. He was sitting in his chair because he could barely stand up, and he was watching TV as he always did, and I stuck out my hand and I shook his hand and told him that I hope he gets better. And he said thank you and thanks for coming over, and he and I had a moment together while we were shaking hands. We looked at each other and we smiled at the same time at each other, as if to say in a non-verbal but very strong way, I love you. And here's the thing, my grandpa was always very loving. He was always very caring and kind, and we knew that he loved us and cared about us. And he never really said I love you like verbally, but we just always knew it. Like, we knew how much he loved us just by his actions and his sacrifices and what he did for us. I remember being really young and him showing us what he knew about all of his interests, and he would tell us stories about his time, you know, as a young man in the military and as a young man in the workforce, and like all of his stuff with his singing career. Like, he was in a barbershop quartet for many years. He performed on stage, which I'm pretty sure that's one of the main things that contributed to my wanting to entertain is from him. Not only am I also a musician and I love music to death, but I'm pretty sure that most of my entertainment love and my love for music came from him. And I want you all to see the realness of this. I've been taking some time to lay low. I spent yesterday and today just kind of relaxing and grieving and, you know, just getting my head clear, because even though a lot of the family saw it coming, we saw this was an inevitability of demise, you can never truly prepare for something like that. And we definitely were not prepared, if I'm being real. And I just want to let you know that no matter what happens in life, no matter if it's loss, if it's gain, if it's something good, something bad, something positive or negative, you can get through it. And the people in your life, make sure that you rely on them. Like, there are people out there who care about you, even if it doesn't feel like it half the time. It feels like you're all alone. I promise you, you are not alone. And like, all of you have stuck by me for so many years, and I want to thank you for that, like, wholeheartedly. Like, some of you, actually all of you, don't even realize some of the deep holes that you've brought me out of, like in my times of loss, in my times of questioning, difficulty, my times of, you know, lack in self-confidence and self-esteem. You all have brought me up so much, and I want to thank you for that. And my grandpa was always there for family. He always made time for family. He always made time for me. He always made time for us. He always made time for my brother, my dad, my uncle, my mom, my grandma, everybody in his life he always made time for, and he never forgot those he cared about. And he really had a kind heart, and even though he was gruff on the outside, you know, very, you know, if you looked at him you might be like, oh, that's, you know, that's a rough looking guy. He had the heart of a teddy bear. I think he's one of the reasons that he's one of the ones who truly taught me how to love. And, you know, another Latin phrase I also talk about is sic Parvis Magna, greatness from small beginnings. You want to see somebody who had a small beginning and turned it into something great? That was my grandfather. And he was one of the greatest examples I have ever encountered when it comes to making something of yourself, when it comes to taking your circumstances that are absolutely garbage and turning into something amazing. He was a guy who, no matter what, he did not give up. And he went through a lot of hardships in his life. And he ended it with being on top. He ended it with being the best that he could. And I am truly grateful for that. At the interest of not making this very long, I just want to say that, Grandpa, I love you. I'm going to miss you so much. It just won't be the same without you. You were one of my greatest inspirations, and I know deep down that I'm not done seeing you. I will see you again someday, and I know that you are proud. You know. So, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for continuing to support. I'm going to be taking this week to spend time with family, to, go to his memorial and to celebrate his life, and I'm going to be sure that I carry on his legacy as one of his grandchildren, and I'm going to continue sharing that love and that care that he shared so much. I know a lot of you didn't know him, but I'm letting you know that that man was a big part of who I am. So my message is just love each other. If there's someone in your life or some in your life that you aren't sure about, or you're not sure how to react, just tell them that you love them, because they may not be here tomorrow. So till next time, I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your continued love and support. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Bye.